Hey guys, men's dating coach HarryWilmington here, founder of introvertdatingsuccess.com. And today's show is going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking about my weight loss journey. In the past 2.5 months, I have lost 30 pounds. And I want to talk about why I did it and how your health actually affects your dating journey in 3 key areas. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/HarryWilmington to be notified of when I post up new videos. So guys, like I said, I'm going to show you a picture on screen now if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, go to youtube.com/HarryWilmington to see the picture of myself. But I want to show you the pictures that I have. This first picture is 2.5 months ago. And that was when I was at 193 pounds. And this picture today, this is one that I recently weighed myself and I am down to 164 pounds. So I'm very, very close to 30 pounds. The reason I took on this weight loss journey is because back in November, I started to notice a few things as it pertained to my physical health, my emotional health, and also my sexual health. That was like, oh no, I got to turn this ship around. I got to be back to my fighting weight. Now, years ago, when I was in my early 30s, late 20s, I was at 155 pounds and it was great. And then just over the years, I started building up weight. And it wasn't like I was depressing like that. I just was eating the wrong stuff and not really caring. And just, it ballooned to this past Thanksgiving. I got on the scale like a couple days after Thanksgiving and I was like 193 pounds. And I was like, oh my God, which makes me wonder if I was actually a little bit heavier than that prior to. But the point is, yeah, I weighed myself at 193 pounds and I had never, ever been that high in my weight before. But what I also started to recognize was that at that weight, there were some things that were happening internally in me that I felt that I just didn't want to feel. And so I'm going to go over those things because they really do pertain to your emotions, your physicality, your dating life, your sexual health, and all that stuff. And these are things that you may not be aware of because I don't think what's talked about a lot is how your diet actually affects the way that you navigate and interact with people. It really can have an impact on you in some key areas that if you're trying to deal with women and you're not aware that your health is causing you to do these things could be to your detriment. And the more aware you are about things that affect how you date in this world, the better. So, and also I'm thinking about putting together a program that teaches you guys how to lose 30 pounds in a span of 2 months like I did. If that's something that you're interested in, or if you're interested in a free cheat sheet or knowing what things that I do exercise wise or food wise to get down to this weight in such a fast amount of time, then let me know and I can create that thing for you, okay? You can also hit me up at HarryWilmington@gmail.com to write me personally, and if I get enough messages or enough comments, I'll put something like that together for you guys. But these are the 3 ways that I find that how you are built health-wise can affect your dating process, okay? So the first part is your emotions. As I was doing this journey, I started to recognize the certain foods that I ate resulted in me feeling emotionally about certain things. So for example, if I ate, a lot of sugary stuff, then I found that I would get cranky a lot faster. If I ate too much beef stuff, too much steak, too much roast beef or whatever, then I found that I would start to be feeling really, really depressed. I would be less motivated to want to finish things. I just kind of be in that mood of like, I don't want to do this thing or whatever, this is that. And so what I found was that, yeah, when you were eating the wrong kind of diet and you're eating a lot of junk stuff, then you could unknowingly become a cranky and depressed person. Now, I want to caveat this by saying that I understand that some people that are depressed, it could be a chemical imbalance that they got to take lifelong medicines for. And so I'm not talking to those people. But for the remainder of you out there, take a look at and start to recognize and analyze what you're eating and then how you're feeling about things later. Because now I'm that kind of person that knows, okay, if I eat like a big steak, for example, if I start to hours later feel cranky or feel like I want to be around less people, and it's not due to my introvertism, because I definitely, as an introvert, can be happy and still want to be alone. But if I'm noticing that I'm wanting to be alone and it's like because I'm also moody and feeling depressed, then I got to recognize, oh, it's because I ate this big ass steak earlier, and that's now resulting in, the steaks take longer to digest, so your blood goes to your stomach, and so that can get, make your head feel a certain way, then you start feeling like you suddenly don't want to be around people. But I recognized when I was eating more of the wrong stuff, I was getting more and more cranky, more and more moody, more and more depressed about things. Not in a majorly depressed sense, but just kind of that thing of like, man, like I'm just tired and whatever. So you got to start recognizing that. So that could be an area you might want to consider about when you're looking at what you're eating and how it's affecting your emotional health, okay? The second thing, my physical health. So I started to notice that when I'd be sitting there in a chair, I could start feeling my heart actually working a lot harder to try to pump blood around my system. And I had never felt that before. So I wasn't quite at the weight where I was in the danger zone of having a heart attack, but for my age and for my height, I'm like 5'9.5", my weight range shouldn't be higher than 168. So as I got into the 180s and the 190s, that's when my heart started working overtime. I also started to find that I was physically tired. Eating all these foods, like I said, aside from the emotional stuff, it can make you feel exhausted. Eating too much sugar can give you a sugar rush that results in then you suddenly going from like being hyper and giddy to like being really, really tired and knocked out. So picture you've eaten all this junk food and now you go on a date. Now you're sitting on the date and you're starting to get tired a lot faster. She thinks you're not paying attention to her when she's talking. You're starting to feel your heart rate go a little bit more. So you're kind of like, not trying to move too hard. You're trying to like move your arm in a certain position so you can get your heart back in the way that it feels good. Like all that affects how she's looking at you, because she's looking at you like, why are you making these movements? Why are you so tired? Why are you depressed all the time? And these movements and actions could make women get turned off. Which then you're thinking, man, this is really sucking. My dating life's not going the way I want it to. These women are always saying I have a bad attitude or that I'm always snapping at them. What's the big deal? And that makes you want to eat more bad stuff and you're getting your weight even worse and all that stuff. So again, this is having an effect emotionally and physically. And then the sexual part. This is what really got me to be like, I got to turn the ship around. Is that I started to notice, I was having a lower libido, meaning I was actually wanting to have sex less. And granted, I'm 39. So as you get older as a guy, your appetite for sex is going to already get less anyway, but you don't want that to be happening even more so as a result of your diet when you have a girl that you're dating that is a willing participant and wanted to have sex with you. Because then it seems to her like, are you turned off by me? Is it something I did? And really it's something you're doing because you're eating all this stuff and you're getting heavier. And then by default, the bigger you get, fat contains a lot of estrogen. So that can start to make your libido get out of whack. And then you're suddenly like, well, I don't want to have sex and I don't want to do whatever. And she's feeling some kind of way about it. And it's affecting both of you guys' sex life. Okay. In addition to, I also found that, just getting a little personal here, that the man downstairs wasn't as strong and mighty as he once was. And I could feel it. I could feel it when, I was trying to get there and it was taking longer to get aroused. And then when I was getting aroused, he was there, but he wasn't saluting it full attention, if you get what I mean. And so at that point, I was like, okay, so I don't like the physical things I'm feeling. I definitely don't like the emotional things I'm feeling, but the sexual stuff, like I'm the dude in bed like wants to do all these things and try all these things. Now I'm that guy that's like kind of like, if we got to do some stuff, I guess it's okay. And oh my God, but I'm not really feeling all the way into it. And especially when you're into a girl and you're high, like you find her attractive and she's everything you want her to be, but suddenly you can't perform. That's a problem. And again, a lot of that could be because of your diet. So once I started to recognize these things, I was like, okay, you know what? I realized if I had to do a flashback of myself that in my earlier days when I was at the lower weight and I was a bit healthier in terms of the food choices that I was making, that I was having better performance all around. I felt better emotionally, I felt better sexually, I felt better physically, and now all those things aren't happening. That's my fault. And I got to turn this ship around. And so that's what I did. I put myself to the grind and I mapped out a plan of how I was going to do this. I figured out a great way to be able to exercise that wasn't going to be over strenuous, but would actually get results based on the things that I saw through other YouTube videos. And in the span of 2.5 months, I went from 193 to 163. And I'm still going, my goal ultimately is to get to 160, because that'll be a really good weight for me, because I think that'll be totally fine in terms of how I feel about myself. But already I feel great. Like, I feel great. My stamina's back in both my physical health and also my sexual health, and I feel emotionally good all the time. And so I say this to say that, again, if you're not having the results that you want in your dating life, a good part of that could be because your diet's not where it needs to be. And when your diet's not where it needs to be, it affects you physically, it affects you emotionally, and it affects you sexually. And because it's going to affect you emotionally in the sense of your self-esteem and your depression and stuff like that, then that could be something that's actually demotivating you. Like, you have to sit there thinking like, I'm just not a great guy and girls don't like me, this and that. But even those messages being fed to you, part of that could be because your diet is making you feel depressed. Like, the sugar is hitting your dopamine centers, but then when it goes away, it's kind of like people that are on drugs. Like, sugar's a drug, for example. So when you're not getting that drug, you start to feel like the world's against you and you're depressed and you don't know why. And you're attributing it to you're not getting girls, but part of it could be your outlook on life is that way because you're being emotionally changed by the things that you're eating. And once you start getting on a better diet, then those things could change. Now, notice I didn't say get rid of sugar altogether, because during the course of my 2.5 months as I've been doing this, I've still been eating cakes, pies, cinnamon rolls. I mean, I started this whole thing in December, right? Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. I have had sweets after sweets. I've had alcoholic drinks. I've had a bunch of things that I like to eat. And it's not that I got rid of them. I just knew how to portion them out better, but I didn't get rid of anything that I like to eat. I just learned to add things to my diet that would be better overall. I added things that would help me digest foods better. And I added exercises that weren't strenuous. And like I said, will still allow me to sustain and keep that weight loss off. Okay. So again, this is just something I wanted to talk to you guys about, because this really is important in terms of your dating life and how you're handling women and how you're feeling around them and stuff like that. With that said, if this is something you'd like me to create as a program, I'd love to talk more about this. I'd love to show you guys the exact food plan that I use. I'd love to talk to you about, things you can incorporate into your diet, how you can still enjoy the things that you like, so that way you're not taking those things away from yourself, but still being able to lose weight at the same time. I'd love to talk to you about the simple exercise that I did that allowed me to be able to, still have a lifestyle, and it didn't interrupt from anything that I'm doing, but it still allowed me to lose all this weight. And it wasn't anything hard that I did. It's just making a commitment to want to do the thing and recognizing that it's going to be beneficial to me, not just in my physical health, but also in my relationship health and my sexual health, and in the way that I feel about myself as I go about the dating world. Okay. So again, if there's something you want me to create, I can create it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on my email, and I'd be happy to put that together. Thank you for watching this episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode, and catch new episodes every Monday and Thursday right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out my other episodes so you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.